तत्सवितुर्वरं रूपम् ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपयेत्। ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरं रूपम् ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपयेत्। ॐ
Welcome everyone. So I hope we took a few moments to ingather. So we have been reading in the Mother's Light by Rishabhchand ji, and today I thought we can directly take up this towards the end of reason, its utility and limitation, a crucial choice and sublimation of reason. And after that we have desire starting, which we also wanted to take. So yes, yeah, anyone who would like to read, please unmute and go ahead.
I can read. Sorry. A crucial choice. It is a crucial choice that confronts man today, whether he should elevate and exceed reason and explore the vaster and luminous reaches of his consciousness, or let his reason pander to the base interests and brutish hungers of his animal nature. On the one hand, there is the hope of an infinite expansion of human consciousness in light and peace and creative harmony, an unimpeded flowering of man's immortal spirit, and a radical transformation of his human into divine nature. And on the other, the rampant chaos and anarchy of his animal appetites and blind impulses, rendered immensely more powerful and destructive by the subtlety of his intellect and reason. The very existence of man on earth is at stake. To be or not to be is the sole question of the hour. Mind is at the end of its tether. Shall man cling on to his collapsing reason and find himself broken in the bottomless pit, or ascend to the supramental heights and renew his life and nature in its transforming light?
Thank you. So this was written maybe so many years ago and still valid very much, that we are actually at the end of this, hanging on the threshold. And as today we were talking and Taru was sharing that how we have extremes possible, in human nature, that how we can be so animalistic, so barbaric, that even animal is above that nature if we fall down to that level. And the same is true that if we want to rise then also it's like extreme, you know? So we can, an animal cannot do that. Animal cannot fall below the animal standard. But with human being, it is given, since there is a flexibility, it can stretch to the life divine. So it is also a possibility that it can stretch to extreme barbarism. So it is like pros and cons of the flexibility that is given to us. So what do we want to do? Do we want to make use of this flexibility for uplifting ourselves and the human race and further the whole globe? You know, we have the capacity. Or do we want to misuse it, which also we are doing? You know, the condition we have put earth in, because of all our consumerism and all that I want for my own self, you know, this thing, that thing, and just consuming and consuming and consuming and not caring what is happening to the stuff when I reject it. You know, when I consume and reject it, what happens to that matter? Nobody bothers. And when we think about it, we think that when others are not bothering, why should I bother? I have also the, you know, the right to be happy. That's how we see this. And even then we live like beggars. And I think this choice is so important. It looks like very, maybe it's not in my hands, you know, but every moment we have this choice. Every moment, whenever I uplift myself and not choose ambition, greed, desire, consumerism, every moment, you know, we think that it's so feeble, you know, that I'm not really doing much. But mother says that this is the best social service that we are doing each moment. So transcending our own older thresholds, which are not beneficial anymore. So we don't see the expanse of it. If only we can see how much it matters. Little day-to-day movements of life, if we can choose the higher, choose the more beneficial, we are creating that ripple, you know, and not taking it downward, but participating in the upward movement. So as he says that reason, let his reason pander to the base interests and brutish hungers, that also is a possibility. Why? Because reason is not like, it does not have force. You know, impulses have force. Passion has force. Reason does not have force. So reason can get subdued in the force of impulses. And it can give justification then for the impulses. So what do we do? Let his reason pander to the base interests and brutish hungers. And then he says, on one hand, there is the hope of an infinite expansion of human consciousness in light, peace, and creative harmony, an unimpeded flowering of man's immortal spirit. That is our possibility. Radical transformation of his human into divine nature. But first we become human at least. You know, so when mother puts reason on the top, it is actually becoming human first. Put reason on the top, put reason on the top, so that we are the master of our animal instincts and base impulses. You know, they are not the ruler. That's why reason comes first, and then we become at least man. We can't just make a jump from animal man to divine man. You know, first has to be the medium level, which is man. So we are not even man yet. The way we consume food, the way we just like want to just consume it, other things that we want to consume, what is it? A certain asceticism in life. Sri Aurobindo and mother say, you know, they say that a basic discipline in life is very much important. And she, you know, while talking about him and the mother, you know, how they had so many experiences, he says that we have gone through those living in bare necessities. You know, we have tasted that, we had that self-discipline. And then a stage comes when, you know, whatever is available, you make use of that. Like Sri Aurobindo used to sleep on floor. when he came back from England? What was the need for him to do that? Thank you. I got some food. Yeah. Yeah. So anything on this? Anyone?
He was sharing how he was sleeping on the floor after coming back from England. And I also remember reading that he had mentioned that he never, like, as soon as he landed here, it was as if he realized what all he has been missing. How suddenly he felt that, oh, okay, now things are all right. Like, that was so beautiful. That how much we value those, if I talk about, okay, London educated in those times, right? To be sent there, it feels like, wow, like how blessed. And yet that person is choosing to sleep on the floor and feeling so privileged and blessed to be on this land. That's so beautiful. And when you were reading this, it felt like, just talking about myself, that I am that dog on my street, like barking at other dogs who are coming, saying this is my street and all, and really enjoying the bones that are thrown at me now and then, thinking that if I'll bark or if I'll maintain my territory, I am the king of the world. That's what I think, right? That I have everything under control, everything is going according to my plans and whatnot. So, this part that where it says that mind is at the end of its tether. Shall man cling on to his collapsing reason and find himself broken in the bottomless pit, or ascend to the supramental heights? Like, if we were just to open our eyes and see how our lives are in general as a society, where we are heading, the number of diseases, the psychological issues, the way the children, I mean, especially in the Western countries, like it's scary, like, as I don't know, I don't see a single child without a soother it's called, right? That nipple thing in India we used to, like, all of them. And plus, every child, like more than 5 years old or something, have like almost an iPad, a phone, Nintendos, because the in the sense, and then they have issues, right? Withdrawal issues and addiction issues and so many psychological issues. And then we wonder how like, we don't still wonder how we have reached here. We just want band-aids and quick fixes. Like, तभी तो we'll have to pause and see कि यहाँ कैसे पहुंच रहे हैं. Like, if I look at my parents' generation before that, like, there was this inherent health, right? Like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious, and yet the, I don't know, the pull of the desire, the greed of luxury or comfort is such that I'm not understanding that under the garb of comfort, where am I taking myself? Like, how am I selling myself just because it appears luxurious? It appears that, okay, I have this big house and 2 cars are standing outside, and that gives me a false sense of security. So it's really, like, how stupid are we is the question that comes again and again. That, I mean, definitely we are, that we are here, and yet we seem to be going down with such a, I don't know, high speed. Even like the other day, the Teslas, right? Like, those are auto driven, and somebody was saying that although obviously the security things are so strong, and yet if somebody is able to tap into the system, all those self-driven Teslas can be driven by a common person, right? Like, somebody, like a hacker. Like, I could be totally wrong. I have no basis, no intelligence to say what I am saying, but this is what I'm calling progress. That totally anything is possible. I'm giving everything to these artificial intelligence, these robotic means, and saying that, see, I'm so intelligent, I created this. It just boggles me. Like, I mean, I can cry or I can laugh. I choose to laugh because it's better. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And I think we chose it. I mean, who asked me to give priority to cars and property and wealth? I did it, you know. So we were making choices when we thought we weren't. And even now, I can make a choice. So what you were sharing, like Sri Aurobindo, when he landed his feet on Indian soil, he says, as if 14 years. Now imagine 14 years of darkness. He says 14 years of darkness as if it uplift, like went away from me. How amazing is that? But he survived, thankfully, those 14 years and actually made the best out of it. If you see, how he, yeah, yes, Yuan, please.
I was remembering in the Tales of Prison Life, he speaks about a time when the police comes into his apartment because of the alibi, the cause of the bomb, and they find that he has no furniture. He lives like a poor man, and one of the officers says like, why are you like, you have a title, you have a great education, you could be making a lot of money. Why he, he didn't understand, like it was obvious maybe for him that a good education was the opportunity to make wealth. And it was crazy maybe for him that he didn't intend to do that. Uh, I don't know, in just simple thing. I'm now, I have been studying something called microbiotics, which is kind of a natural medicine, uh, eating brown cereals and stuff uh, to bring balance to the body. And I'm finding how difficult for me it is to resign simple things as sugar, or it's like I'm amazing at myself. Like, okay, just to eat simple foods. Someone was talking about that in the past the kings could eat whatever they wanted, and the peasants didn't. So the kings had like other diseases, like because they could eat whatever they wanted at the time they wanted, and now we all eat like kings because we can, at least people with some wealth, middle class people, eat like we eat like kings because we can take whatever we want at whatever time, and we are full of diseases because of that. And it's truly amazing. Like I'm working and I'm having this, mother talked about how we should eat like in a scientific way, like taking what the body needs, we and I'm finding a lot of difficulties in this. Just simply have some fasting and leaving the sugar and other things that are not healthy. So much attachment.
Yeah, I think it's really good to keep experimenting, because without that we don't get to know how much in water we are. So it's good to, yeah, keep testing. Yeah. But I think parallelly we also see that if we truly find something which is, which is life giving for us, which is soul feed for us, then actually these things, whatever we are eating, they're just so secondary. Whether we had to fast one day, how does it matter? Because the joy, the fulfillment, it is all coming from somewhere else now. Usually we eat food for fulfillment. And those of us who are more less fulfilled in life, you'll see that they depend on food more. You will see that whenever we have been less fulfilled, we gorge on food. Like, okay, ye kahan se milega, wo how do I get this and how do I get that? Because it fulfills us. But whenever fulfillment is coming from somewhere else, then actually it doesn't matter what we are eating, really. I've seen or whether how much we are eating, that also doesn't matter. So it's really nice to keep experimenting. Yeah. And I feel that we must actually totally rely more and more on the one source, that is the source of all fulfillment, so that rest of the dependencies, they wither away. If they are there, okay. If they are not there, it's okay. So usually we eat food for taste. We rarely eat food for health. And we see that when food is very simple, we can't be greedy. I've seen that where we were staying somewhere in the holidays and the food was very simple, very basic. Spices were also like non-noticeable at all. And you can't be greedy there. You can't eat double of what because the mind wants to eat more because of the taste. You'll just eat whatever is required and then done. So I think it's very nice to experiment. Right now I am eating pizza thanks to my kids. So I should not be speaking all this, but I have no option at the moment, so doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, anything more here? Anyone?
In the sorry, Shilpa, I'll go.
So my question is, I was having a conversation with my kids. When I say kids, they're both in their 30s, um, about artificial intelligence. Because it is so much in the papers, literally morning paper, evening free paper on the trains, in the Economist, absolutely everywhere. And you get both sides of the discussion and debate with the advantages, with the discoveries. Um, and I was telling my son and daughter that I said it's going to stop people thinking, people are going to stop, and they were also highlighting how beneficial it was. So then my question was like, has mankind really changed from the caveman? I mean, and they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, in terms of evolving. Uh, so they said, yes, the risks are there with all these things. And this is going back to that crucial choice that that is needed to be made by mankind as a whole. And it again then goes back to raising consciousness. So, there are very plausible um, arguments. I'm using that word for lack of a better one, for both sides of a coin. And so it does come back to that, okay, progress has to be made, because if you think of from caveman to now, people have got longer lives because there's been progress in medicine, and all that is needed. And Madan Sri Aurobindo have talked about science as well, and that progress has to be there. I mean, certain things. So it boils down to about consciousness, isn't it? I mean, what do people think? Because each time somebody gives a valid reason for something to exist of what is in the present, it's very, very pliable. It's very, very possible. So one can't even negate all that as well. So it is really the individual choice coming from that connection with the divine, we can say the mother for us, but for others, that is then what leads you, that by opening up to the force and calling down that presence, then that uses you as so in that sense, you are the robot, you are the artificial intelligence in the eyes of the divine, isn't it? And you're allowing for that to manifest through you, and that's the difficulty, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what to, because for me it's confusing, but yet not confusing, because it's all existing, it's black and white exists, as mother also says, right, that it's not separate, it is still all part of the divine force. It has to exist. One is not exclusive to the other. For us to see it as a truth, as a whole, both have to exist. And that's when then the choice has to be made. So the training, so to speak, has to be about showing man how to make that crucial choice, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
to
Very
all of you.
interesting. Yes. I was actually wondering at this. Somebody was talking about an AI application which can write letters for you. So you type in the key. It's a new application, and people are very excited about it. I would not name it just because I don't want to advertise. So I have no connection with it. And so first time I heard about it, and so people are very excited about it, that how it saves time. So you put in a few keywords, and then
Yes.
yeah, and it gives you a whole letter on a whole article, or for example, I have to write an annual report. So half of the work it does. Now I didn't share it with anyone, but now you have brought it to surface, so this is the first time I am talking about it. That time I didn't speak about it because it actually stuck me. I thought, if this work which I am supposed to do, this software is going to do, then what am I going to do? And I just stopped at that, and then I thought, okay, good for me, because I have more time then to make further ascent in my consciousness.
Exactly.
What you were sharing, because now those things which can be done by robotics, why not? But parallelly we will see that now what do I do? So I have so much time at hand. All the tasks is given to, for example, the robots or AI or the application, the softwares. So I think it's very good because the mechanical part they can take care of, which I was doing. Now it saves time, it gives me time. And now the crucial choice, as you were reflecting upon, that now the choice is that what do I do with this empty time now that I have got, when the work, mostly the mechanical part, which is done by this software or AI or whatever, which is, I felt that it maybe is part of this evolutionary journey, that now we have no choice but to ascend. Because what do we do with this empty time that we have while the work gets done by somebody else?
It's very true, and that's what keeps the responsive. Because I know my son is using exactly what you're saying,
Hmm.
because he works remotely, and his company is in another country. And he was saying, he says, he says, I take notes of whatever is being said, and then I put it together and create my report. He says, now I put in the crucial words, so the work is mine. He says, it's just grammatically sometimes also, but it's putting it together. But he says, now it's just saved me so much time. And again, but my argument to that was that, okay, I mean, I know them. I said, I know you will use your time, okay, to do other work, or to, because you have so many other interests, you will do that. I said, what about the large number of people who perhaps will not use it that? So then again, their discussion was that, but that's always been the case. Right from the beginning of time, he says, you can talk to your great grandparents and your generations gone, but that's always been the key question. When there has been progress, a new invention has been there, when new, even when light bulbs were created, there was always an argument for and against, and people made the choices. There were those who made the wrong choices, and there were those who made the right choices. So that is always there. So why is everybody making such a hoo-ha about what is there now and downgrading every single thing? And which makes perfect sense to me as well. So it is going back to what was always before. Make that choice. And for us, yes, it is being guided by the mother, and to make those choices. So yeah, I just thought
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Deepa.
Yeah, but I also think that what we add here by saving time is a frantic pace. We are trying to do so many things. We are trying to club everything together in that 24 hours. So, for example, like, you wanted to hear from somebody who's far away. Earlier would take you like 2 weeks. You had time to think about it. You thought about things. You were not impulsive. Now it is you think, you shoot an email, there's a response from the other side, and things escalate. One is that. Second is the frantic pace in terms of um, now your boss can reach you even after office hours. Your colleague can reach you even at like 10 o'clock in the night. So what happens is there is no switch off at all in today's world. So while we're saving time, what are we saving it for? More work? Then it is, I think we are just, and we're already there. We're creating we are making humans into machines also to a large extent. We are constantly on an on mode. There's no off mode. And we all know that what happens to the nervous system being constantly on the guard. And I think all these mental health issues are all because we are always on guard. So I think there's the flip side is this. Sometimes it's just nice to have a slower pace. Things take time. You think a lot. And when I say think a lot means we are not impulsive in our words, actions. And I think sometimes that's why we say, just be with yourself, because our minds need that slower pace of life.
I agree with you, and that was my argument. But then what comes back with, it is your choice. Your boss sends you the email. It's your choice to ignore it or do something about it. Say, this is not my work time. This is Sunday family time or whatever it is. I will reply back to you on Monday. That's a choice you have to make. Are you willing to make the choice? So everything then, to me, comes back to the choices we decide to make. You react to an email, you shoot off. You stop and think, that same email can be sent 10 minutes later. So I agree with you, because this was a discussion happening, between two generations. And I 100% agree. But then it was, again, as they said, but then it's your choice. And it's when the wrong choices are made, then you're going downhill. And we all go downhill sometimes and then go uphill, and it's an upward, it's a wave, up and down. We go to the shore, we come back, so it's always boiling to that choice. So it's how to make ourselves strong enough to make that crucial choice.
Yeah.
It seems it keeps coming back to that.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I think all of us may resonate with this, that there came a time in between that we started to work for money. So even now, many of us, the things are changing very fast, but many of us still are working, or in, like you were sharing, that now this is my work time and this is not my work time. Now, to me, it would not resonate, because my life is my work and my work is my life, because they are just one with each other. So I think that also we have to shed off slowly, that we are not working for money. And we have luxury, we have all the comforts of life, but where is the creative, fulfillment? Where is the day-to-day fulfillment and joy and progress in life? If we ask ourselves, is it truly there? We all have our answers with us. So what if this is the last day of my life, and have I have this fulfilled day, fulfilled life? This is where I want to be. No, now I'm waiting for a change, for example. So I think this thing also along with technological advances, that okay, the work can come to you all the time, but if the work is sadhana, if work is your expression in life, then there is no problem. I can wake up at 2 o'clock at night and take a session. It doesn't matter to me, for example, just this case. So if my work is my creative expression of the soul, then how does it matter when work is at pinging at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever? How does it matter, time? But to us, time matters because we are working mostly, not all, for finances. We don't know what to at times do also with so much of finances. We keep accumulating, and yet the joy is not there because that soul is not in front fully. So when with technological advances, I am left with no option कि भैया boss तो अब परेशान करेगा ही करेगा, because technology is like that. So then maybe this choice I make, that let me get into a job which which is my life. There is no cutting off. We see mother, look at mother. I am taking really the highest possible example, but I think we must take it. Ashram, all the activities of ashram, she's hardly getting any time to sleep, but to her it is not mattering. She wants to be there, she wants to do that. Answering Sri Aurobindo, answering tons and thousands, whatever, he says that so much correspondence now I have to do, there's hardly any time, so cut short darshan time or do this. So everything is one. There is like one whole which is moving. Life is not demarcated between work and life and work and life. So when life becomes a sadhana, and one can be meditative throughout, and there is no cut between this is work and this is life, and when will the boss leave me, then I think we don't mind these pingings at any hour. So I think that phase has passed. Now more and more people are choosing to live life truly what they are passionate about. We see a younger generation in India also, they are choosing to money was important in between. Now more and more, what gives you true fulfillment, creative urge, creative expression. And as many disciples also of Mother Sri Aurobindo, they have written on this, Nolini Da has written on this, that when creative expression is there in life, soul is in front, fulfillment is there. Money may be less, but who made, we all know that money cannot fulfill us. We can consume more, but that fulfillment and contentment is not there. So I think these are all maybe leading us towards really being authentic to ourselves and choosing a job, choosing a profession, not for money, not for luxury, not for comfort, but it's as an expression of my soul. Time has come. We see the change happening. So again, what Shilpa was sharing, what do we choose? Do I choose more comfort, luxury, all that? Or do I choose that which is more meaningful and purposeful to me? Yes, Shilpa, please go ahead.
Even just now you were saying like we are doing it for money or whatever, but even with that, it's what we do with the money, right? It's like now for many years on Dhanteras Day, we do the ritual of it. It's part of the, my husband's family, and we do it. But the important thing is now we read Mother's, in the book, The Mother, on money. And I've seen what a difference it made. The first time I said, okay, come on, we're going to read that, in addition to whatever the puja we do. And it's made a difference. And now it's become part of the puja. And so each time we read it each year, something different comes in, something you pick up. So, it's almost like, okay, no, I shouldn't say let's not, but that desire is there. why fool ourselves? We do like certain good things. We do like certain food, whatever. But what can we do in what attitude? It's what Mother keeps talking about, like surrender of your being. So in slowly, then we won't do it for the sake of that, but we'll do it for the sake of her. That, okay, how can we use this to do this, to do her work, isn't it? So then it kind of evolves along the way as part of our sadhana and our growth, is that consciousness with which we work in it.
Yeah, I think it really matters because money is not the problem. As mother says, that money has gotten into asuric hands, that whenever we get money, we want to just use it for our own self. But once we have done it enough, as you are sharing, that if one opens to what is the purpose of money? And if we put it to right work, then money is not a problem. It's abundance, it's prosperity, and you're putting it to right work. You are like, here I see in ashram, Delhi ashram, they so much good work. They collect lot of money, donations, CSR funding from corporate company, and they are using it for underprivileged youth, children, teachers, rural teachers, tribal teachers. So much good work is happening with that money, which I could have just accumulated and kept in lockers, that I would use it for some rainy season. So there is a difference. If we begin to use the same money for not just for accumulation, and mother says that when money begins to make money, which we do, like investing it in share market and just accumulating more and more and more, so that we feel secure. Mother says that when money begins to make money, it is actually a perversion of money. Money is not supposed to be making more money. This is the distortion that we have nowadays. But I'm sure, as we grow in our consciousness, which is happening, this use of money will also be put to the right place. It has a proper place. Yeah. So anything more? Anyone here on a crucial? So we'll take then this also today, sublimation of reason, and after that it is conquest of desire. So I think that would also touch upon what Shilpa was sharing, that we have desires. So I think let's also go through that, what Sri Aurobindo and Mother and Rishabhchand ji has to say on this. So let us go on sublimation of reason. Anyone would like to read?
I can read.
Yeah.
Sublimation of reason. Man is a pilgrim of eternity and must not settle down at any wayside inn, however snug and secure it may seem to be. As he has been endeavoring to transcend the subrational stage of impulse and instinct, so too he must strive to ascend beyond reason to whatever higher powers and faculties await the exploration of his evolving consciousness. But reason can be transcended only when it is fully developed. It is dangerous to attempt a premature leap. The mother says that knowledge is above and beyond the mind of thought, but the mind of thought and reason has to be fully developed before one can hope to transcend it in order to attain knowledge. She enjoins on everybody the duty of developing his reason, for it is only after he has risen to his full stature as a mental being that he can aspire to scale the spiritual heights. The first thing that is to be taught to every human being as soon as he is capable of thinking is that he must obey reason, which is a kind of super instinct of the species. And I repeat that it is not a question of spiritual life, but the very elementary wisdom of human, purely human life. Every child must know that he is created to become a mental being. And if he is to manifest his human nature, reason must govern his life and not vital impulses. That is the elementary education that should be given everywhere. The reign of reason should not end until the coming of the psychic law which manifests the divine will. Reason must not be thrown overboard, but purified and raised to its full stature and held up to the higher light. Instead of remaining a henchman of our desire soul, it must achieve a control over it and help our being to offer all itself to the divine.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very beautiful, the last few lines also. Instead of remaining a henchman of our desire soul, it must achieve a control over it and help our being to offer all itself to the divine. So we have to just stop justifying our desires and demands and expectations. Because that is where we are misusing also many a times reason. So anything on this, anyone?
Well, I'm talking about money and this topic. You know, other than desires, what if money is needed for to save someone's life? And this money at this point of time can only come, to the limited mind, can only come from one source, and that source is not the source that the soul is calling for. And the thing is that to pursue something that the soul wants to, where there is no money, maybe that is the right option. But what if the money is needed urgently to save a person's life and there is no time? So at this point of time, how does one so is it like just is it like just telling the mother that, mother, just make me your instrument and let me go through this?
I think we make a false premise. We think that whenever I'm choosing soul's choice, what I truly want to do, the premise that is in my mind is कि वहां पे मुझे मनी नहीं मिलेगा, वहां पे abundance नहीं है. ये कहां से आया? Where is this coming from? We have to question that. Who says that when you follow your soul's choice, you are a beggar? यही कह रहे हैं ना कि मुझे वो करना पड़ रहा है जो मुझे करना पड़ रहा है, जो मैं करना नहीं चाहता, क्योंकि यहाँ पे पैसा है और वो पैसा बहुत जरूरी है. लेकिन अगर मैं वो करूंगा जो मैं करना चाहता हूं, वहां पे देखो पैसा नहीं है. मैंने कहा ये कहां से आ रहा है? किसने कह दिया आपको? क्या आपने करके देख लिया वो 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल? हैव यू एक्सपेरिमेंटेड? है ना? सो ये फॉल्स प्रेमाइस है. बी अ साइंटिस्ट, नो? A scientist will experiment first and then will have results, right? Based on those results, he can make further changes. So we don't question this false premise कि ये आपको किसने कह दिया कि जो सोल की चॉइस को फॉलो करते हैं, जो अपनी इनर कॉलिंग को फॉलो करते हैं, वो भिखमंगे रहते हैं. ये किसने कह दिया? उनको कुछ नहीं मिलता. Alokda, he once shared, he was taking care of the Bangalore Center, Sri Aurobindo Center Society, Bangalore. And he said that they were very short of funds. They needed funds for making the new building. And he said that I didn't know where the funds are going to come from. He just wrote a letter to mother. Mother, this is the case. I don't know where the funds are going to come from, but I know that, this is, I'm giving to you and you do the needful. Funds were provided and the Bangalore center is still surviving beautifully. So this is what we call leap of faith, no? आपको पुराना भी बना रहे, पुराने हाथ में भी आपका भरा रहे बिल्कुल हाथ, और नया भी मिल जाए, ये पॉसिबल नहीं है ना. दिस इज वेयर वी वी डोंट हैव फेथ, है ना. यहाँ पे वो लीप ऑफ फेथ की बात आती है कि रीजन क्या कह रहा है. रीजन कह रहा है इसको पकड़े रख, इसको पकड़े रख, और हार्ट्स कॉलिंग क्या कह रही है कि नहीं, ये नहीं चाहिए, कुछ और है जो मिसिंग है. दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल लीप ऑफ फेथ. यहाँ पे लीप है क्योंकि अभी हाथ में आपके कुछ आया नहीं है. See, when you begin to listen to your heart's calling, अभी हाथ में आपके कुछ नहीं आया, you are taking a risk. It can be a blunder. But is it a worth blunder according to you? Or would you still live a mediocre life, which all of us mostly live? Or make that risk. आप देखो, आप those of businesses which are really flourishing businesses, doing good for country and people around, you will see that most of them took a risk. They didn't know whether they were going to succeed or not in whatever they were attempting, but they had no choice. They said that ये पुरानी जिंदगी तो हम नहीं जी सकते, अब नई में जो आना है बस आएगा, है ना. बट वो जो हम कल परसों बात कर रहे थे, we have to do the neti, we have to do the neti of what now is not fulfilling, and give the space like an open field. We have to give the space to the new, है ना. अगर ये चाहे कि पुराना भी हाथ भरा रहे और नए में भी आ जाए लड्डू, तो ये तो होना पाएगा. ये पुराना छोड़ना पड़ेगा, खाली फील्ड तैयार करनी पड़ती है. And there is abundance when you follow soul's calling. There may not be luxury, but there is abundance of the heart. There is abundance in life. There is prosperity in life. आपके पास एक धेला होगा, लेकिन आप इतने जेनरस होगे कि आप बोलोगे नहीं, ये इसको जरूरत है, मैं दूंगा इसको एक धेला. There have been stories. Mother says, somebody heard the name of the mother somewhere in the train, and he said that I want to offer something to this mother that you're talking of. He gave one sikka, that he had. And when the devotee or the disciple who were living in ashram, they came to the mother and got that little gift from that person. Mother said, how will I repay this man? Because that was all he had, which he offered to the mother. और हमारी हालत तो सबको पता है, हमारी बैंक की तिजोरियां भरी रहती हैं और हमारे दिल होते हैं कंजूस, है ना. तो जियो तो फिर live like a king. No, this is living like a king. That you gave honor and respect to that heart's feeling of offering, and you didn't bother कि मेरा next meal कहाँ से आएगा जहां से भी आएगा. Divine provides for everyone. Little corner dog on the street is provided a meal. So we have to stop taking ourselves too seriously, as mother says, and we have to give honor to our heart, true calling. We have to give honor. जब हम उसको ऑनर करते हैं तो सब कुछ आता है. कोई भूखमंगा नहीं मरता, सब जीते हैं और खुशी खुशी जीते हैं. जितने भी दिन जीते हैं, मर मर के नहीं जीते, है ना. We should not be satisfied with mediocre lives. Only then we get a higher life. If I get satisfied with mediocre life, divine says, okay, person is not calling, not required. ठीक है.
Monica ji, I would like to add to this. Can I?
हाँ जी, बोलिए कुलदीप जी. इसमें कोई आपको मेरी परमिशन की जरूरत नहीं है. मैं यहाँ पे इंस्पेक्टर नहीं हूँ कि आप सब मेरी परमिशन ले लेके बोलते हैं.
इंस्पेक्टर नहीं, आपने अपना क्लोज किया है कि नहीं आर्गुमेंट?
नहीं, मैंने कर दिया क्लोज. इट वाज नॉट एन आर्गुमेंट, आई वाज जस्ट शेयरिंग. प्लीज गो अहेड.
Okay, so I will, from my life's example, I will give. See, I was living a mediocre life, and at a point, however much we want to be satisfied with that, we are not satisfied. Matlab, somehow we will do some nashabaji and do some entertainment and pretend to be satisfied and pretend to be happy. But ultimately, for me, fortunately, it happened that life itself kicked me out. It was not possible. and it was so much of dark. It is not just financially dark or something like that. Mind itself had stopped working. But I realized ki, and right now I'm in a place, I'm in a ashram kind of place, the where you are talking, right? So slowly, even knowledge, not just money, even knowledge, the way I was trying to seek from this source, that source, even that is coming abundantly. Even cooperation is coming abundantly, and money too, I don't have to think at all. That is also coming, but I don't have to practically work for money. Matlab, for the work's sake, and whatever it is, it not ki I am putting a very big skill or big expertise and all. Very simple things. That's what I had prayed for a long with God. Ki, okay, whatever my mental energies are there, mental capacities, whatever my physical capacities, you have given me good health, and you have given me good logic and thinking power and all. Please put that to use. I don't know how to make money out of it, or how to create happiness out of it, how to restore peace out of it, but I have these skills. Right now I am not able to apply. You give me a chance, God. And suddenly I didn't find it. It came on my lap. And it is a kind of somebody created a roadmap for me. So it is a leap of faith, what the word is saying. Still I don't know tomorrow, but day by day I am seeing I am improving in either. That's the thing. And even there is not a worry about the what you call na, very simple food and all. I don't bother कि कहाँ प्रोटीन मिल रहा है, ये मिल रहा है, जो फलाना, मतलब इतना पैसा होते भी हम सोचते हैं ना, ये कमी पड़ गया, इंसेक्टिसाइड वाला है, वो है, कुछ सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. आई एम गेटिंग द बेस्ट. आई एम लाइक, my health is like maybe at the best by eating this simple ashram food. And the work also is the kind of resistance, आलस वगैरह जो कमजोरियां हैं, वो भी निकलती जा रही हैं. वो भी ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत धक्का मार के, बहुत ज्यादा तप जप करना पड़ रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रगल करना पड़ रहा है against your will and willpower. Nothing like that. That also, this environment itself is giving the strength, and I am becoming stronger. It is not कि I have to struggle and like willpower and all these things, तप जप करना, साधना करना, वैसा कुछ नहीं है. कर रहा हूँ, मतलब मेहनत हो रही है, आलस के पैटर्न्स भी हैं, लेकिन फिर भी आई एम सीइंग उसमें कैसे सक्सेसफुली मैं, मतलब slowly I am growing.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Anything more here? Anyone?
I just want to ask one question, Didi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Please go
So
ahead.
okay, thank you. So in this scenario, uh, I mean, yes, it resonates, everything you shared. Uh, just one thing in this scenario, suppose, usually say if a person's personal needs are not much, um, but sometimes what happens is there is pressure of like you are taking care of other members in the family, or you are responsible for them. And so it's not a personal scenario, but I have seen this often, so I'm sharing. Like, say in the case of men, you are responsible for parents, you know, and sometimes in that scene one is not able to take that leap of faith. Say suppose my personal needs are not much and I know that I will be able to manage, but when one is responsible for a couple of other members, that it becomes slightly difficult, or that guilt comes in. And another thing comes in is that one personally might be simple, but the people you're providing for, they might not be simple. So their needs keep growing, and you are the earning member, so you kind of feel stuck. So how should one deal with
Hmm.
this?
Chetna, Mother and Sri
I mean,
Aurobindo, yes, you know, human life is not about fulfilling our basic needs of roti, kapda, and makan. I think this has to be very clear with us. है ना, अभी आप कह रहे थे कि मेरी नीड्स तो कम है बट घर वालों की नीड्स ज्यादा हैं, बट वो मुद्दा ही नहीं है नीड्स पूरी करने का। उसको भी तो क्वेश्चन करना है ना हमको। क्या हम इसलिए पैदा हुए हैं कि हमें खाना तीनों टाइम समय का मिलता रहे और हमको कपड़े पूरे पहनने के मिलते रहे और आसपास लग्जरी रहे, गद्दे रहे, तकिए रहे? क्या हम इसलिए पैदा हुए हैं? कौन से महर्षि ने, कौन से अवतार ने, कौन से योगी ने, I don't know of one master who has said that this is why we are born. So when I am saying that, okay, my needs are minimal, okay, taken. So when you are actually giving money and whatever finances and resources for fulfilling the needs of those people who you think you love or care for, are you doing them good? That's the question. The only good that you are doing is they will just maintain that groove, and the whole life, 80, 90, whatever years of life will be spent in that comfort groove. कि हम तो ऐसे हैं, हम तो ऐसे रहते हैं, तो किसी का भी फायदा नहीं हुआ। आपने अपने आप को तड़पाया उनको प्रोवाइड करने के लिए, आपका भी फायदा नहीं हुआ, है ना?
yes, yes.
और जो बेचारे वो थे, चलो हाफ इग्नोरेंट कह लो, है ना, फुल इग्नोरेंट नहीं कहते, उनका भी फायदा नहीं हुआ। और उनको अगर आप एक खींच के लगाते कि चल उठ, ये क्या आराम कर रहा है, लगाना चाहिए। पता है, मैं आई डू ऑल द टाइम विद माई सेल्फ एंड अदर्स अराउंड मी, ये क्या लगा रखी है, रोटी बनानी नहीं आती, बनाओ उठ के, भूख लगेगी तो अपने आप सब रोटी बनाएंगे। बनाते हैं यार सब, जिन्होंने 10 साल से रोटी नहीं बनाई होती वो बनाते हैं अपने आप खड़े होकर जब भूख लगती है, पैंग्स हो रहे होते हैं जब पेट में। चांस तो दो दूसरों को उठने का, हमें हैंडीकैप थोड़ी ना बनाना है लोगों को, कि मेरे बिना तो ये चाय ही नहीं पीते, है ना, एंड वी टेक इट लाइक मेरे बिना ये चाय नहीं पीते, कि आप खुद भी आप कमजोर हो रहे हो, खुद अपनी कॉलिंग नहीं फॉलो कर रहे हो, और फिर दूसरों को भी बिल्कुल सहेज के रखने से किसने अपनी कॉलिंग फॉलो कर ली, मुझे आज तक एक इंसान नहीं पता। ऐसा नहीं कि मैं बहुत सारे इंसानों को जानती हूँ, बट मैंने नहीं सुना कि सहेज के रखने से किसकी स्पिरिट जागी है। मैंने तो बस ये सुना है कि ट्रेजेडी जो होती है ना वो मजेदार होती है, वो स्पिरिट को जगाती है। मैंने तो अभी तक यही सुना है ना, कि ऐसे पड़ी मार, वाह, कि ये टूटा वो टूटा और अब ह्यूमन स्पिरिट निकल के आई। तो जब मेरे फ्रेंड्स के यहाँ डकैती होती है, मैं बड़ी, द फर्स्ट पर्सन टू बी हैप्पी इज मी, कि अब आएगा मजा। वाई? बिकॉज ह्यूमन स्पिरिट अब जागेगी। जब सब कुछ लूट जाता है ना, तब जो स्पिरिट निकल के आती है ना, दैट इज द रीजन वाई वी आर हियर। तो लूट जाने दो, बिखर जाने दो सबको। मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि लूटो से जाके, बट अपने आप को तड़पाओ मत इसलिए ये बोल के कि मुझे किसी के लिए प्रोवाइड करना है। दिस इज, वी आर मेकिंग फूल ऑफ अवर सेल्स, वी आर नॉट बेनिफिटिंग अदर्स ऑल्सो। एंड व्हेन यू राइज, when your spirit rises, one spirit rises and the rest will have to rise, क्योंकि वो spirit handicap को किसी को support नहीं करेगी।
Yes, thank you, Didi.
So
When
arise,
I
O
asked
soul.
you, I thought you. Yes, yes. When I asked you the question, I thought it's a general scenario that I have seen and I'm asking. But from your answer, I realized how it's personal actually. And yes.
खूब लड़ी मर्दानी, वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी, है ना। बेटे को भी साथ लेके वो कह सकती थी, हाय मेरा बेटा क्या होगा इसका, घोड़े पे ले गई बेटे को, बेटा भी अमर हो गया साथ में। अब फोटो देखते हैं झांसी की रानी की, तो बेटा भी तो साथ में ही होता है घोड़े पे।
Yeah,
Chetna's
actually, these are
yes,
excuses, right?
बिल्कुल
Sorry.
बिल्कुल
These are excuses we are giving ourselves, और हम उनको भी हेल्प नहीं कर रहे जिनको हम सोच रहे हैं हम हेल्प करें, हम उनको भी और वीक और वो ही बना रहे हैं कंफर्ट जोन के अंदर.
yes Deepa.
Yeah, when Chetna spoke, I was reminded of this a few years back when I was seeing this autistic boy in the clinic. And they had this nanny who was from another country, and he was non-verbal. And mother and father both were very busy at work, coming very late in the evening. And I used to always obviously give a daily schedule that the child has to sleep early so that he's good at school, because he would be also very sleepy at school. I remember the mom mentioning that she has to work because she has to provide for him, for his shadow fees, for his a very good British school fees, and to accommodate all his therapy fees with us. And at that point, I remember telling her that, if that is the only reason you're working, then if you even decide to, go to part-time hours or quit work, your child automatically will become so much better when he gets to spend more time with you, with somebody who's speaking the mother tongue, with somebody who is engaging with him selflessly, talking to him, unlike a nanny who's probably cleaning the house and also not sharing the same language. So sometimes I think for me, it seemed like an excuse. Um, I think all of us, including me or my husband or any one of us, we think, oh, now I have to work because I have to give for my children the fees for the university and all of that. I think we are just like fooling ourselves. Somewhere we like to project that this is how much I make, this is my takeaway, this is my bank balance, this is what I own, this is what I possess. I don't think any one of us need the amount of money that we have. And for me, just that mother's conversation that day, because I it hurt me so much, because I felt this child, if he had the mother's support even for a couple hours in the day, would have made so much progress. And um, he took so long to become from non-verbal to verbal for me, just because the mom felt that this is what she was doing was the right thing for the child, but it wasn't actually.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल yes. I think that is why it's an urgency for each one of us, spirituality or knowing who we truly are or having a deep connect with our own self. It is an urgency because whatever decision we take from that blinded ignorance, we think that they are benefiting, but are they truly benefiting? और अल्टीमेटली हम पूछा जाए कि अच्छा मैं बच्चों के लिए पैसे इकट्ठे कर रहा हूँ क्यों, क्योंकि वो जॉब मिल जाए, अच्छा जॉब मिल जाए क्योंकि वो अच्छी लाइफ, क्यों, क्योंकि आई अल्टीमेटली विल कम टू आई वांट हिम टू बी हैप्पी, है ना, अल्टीमेटली हम इसी पे आएंगे, राइट? अब राइट नाउ if the child is joyous because of, as you were sharing, your presence and presence around, so that is what we have right now. इतनी दूर का आगे क्यों उसको पोस्टपोन क्यों करना है, उस हैप्पीनेस को? और वो भी कहाँ, मतलब वो प्रॉमिस भी कहाँ पूरा होता है? मतलब इफ वी से दैट ओके मनी एंड जॉब एंड ऑक्सफोर्ड, all that, education makes one happy, are all the people who are graduated, have more money and are studied in Oxford, are they all happy people today? And statistics will tell that that's not true. And people on street who have no penny, they don't know where the next meal is going to come, they may be happy, they may be joyous today, कुछ है ही नहीं कि परवाह करने के लिए. So I think again we come back to that same thing which we started with in the beginning, the choice that we make, because we are making choices each moment. और अगर थोड़ा सा भी बैठ के सोचें कि ये जो मैं इतनी प्लानिंग में अपनी एनर्जी वेस्ट कर रही हूँ, इतना अपने आप को तड़पा रही हूँ, दूसरों को, है ना, दूसरों का बर्डन अपने सर पे ले रही हूँ, इज इट रियली ट्रूली वर्थ इट? हाउ लॉन्ग डू आई हैव टू लिव? आई डोंट इवन नो दैट. और प्लानिंग हो रही है यहाँ 10 सालों की, ये भी नहीं पता अभी बाहर घर से बाहर निकले हैं जिंदा हैं कि नहीं है. और प्लानिंग हम रियली ऐसी करते हैं कि वाह वाह, डायरीज होती है हमारी प्लानर्स, वो सुंदर सुंदर प्लानर्स खरीद के रखते हैं हम। 1 year planning, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? अरे भैया, where do you see yourself in 1 second from now? Heart attack anytime. Yes, Chetna.
इसी सिनेरियो में दीदी, what Deepa shared, I resonated. It is like, the ultimate goal actually oftentimes is not even the child's happiness. It is कि सोसाइटी में कैसे दिखेंगे, हमारा नाम कैसा होगा, हमारा स्टेटस कैसा होगा. We want them to go to that school for our status, everything. ना हमारा स्टेटस कैसा होगा. तो I mean, I don't, as a child, like one feels कि अभी मैं कितना पूरा करूं, मतलब मैं जितना भी पूरा करता हूँ वो कम ही पड़ता है. तो अभी पूरा करते करते और नहीं करो तो then you have that guilt of not being the good child. So you don't know then what to do, because whatever you do is basically wrong according to.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. ये एक्सक्यूजेस सिर्फ तब तक रहते हैं, या ये गोल गोल राउंड राउंड थिंकिंग अबाउट दीज थिंग्स, ये सिर्फ तब तक रहती है जब तक आपके प्रेशर नहीं होता है पूरा टू फॉलो कन्विक्शन इन लाइफ. आप, द एग्जाम्पल दैट आई गिव इज दैट many people are standing, there is a door of washroom, you are here in front of that door, the door is not yet open, okay? Now you have a very strong pressure in your tummy, you have to go to the washroom, ठीक है? और यहाँ पे लोग खड़े हुए हैं बीच में उसके कर्टन बन के, वो कह रहे हैं कि चेतना तू तो नहीं जा सकती, तेरी तो लाज है हमारे घर से, अगर तू वॉशरूम चले गए तो कैसे चलेगा. So they are giving you all kind of excuses or whatever, their ideas from your life में भी, कि चेतना तो हमारे घर का चिराग है, या जो भी है, वो बोल के तेरे को रोक रहे हैं कि तू नहीं जा सकती, तू हमारे घर का चिराग है, तू अंदर नहीं जा सकती. तो आप क्या करोगे when there is so much of pressure that you can't stop it? What would you do? You just barge in, without caring कि भैया ये लेफ्ट में क्या बोल रहे हैं और राइट में क्या बोल रहे हैं. सो ये जो गोल गोल हम जब घूमते हैं इन बातों में कि लोग हमसे क्या चाहते हैं और हम लोगों से क्या चाहते हैं, ये सिर्फ तब तक घूमते हैं जब तक हम ही अपनी चॉइस के बारे में कन्विंस्ड नहीं होते हैं. जब हम अपनी चॉइस के बारे में कन्विंस्ड हो जाते हैं, ना लेफ्ट मैटर करता है ना राइट मैटर करता है. सो इट्स गुड दैट दीज पीपल आर देयर ऑन लेफ्ट एंड राइट ट्राइंग टू स्टॉप यू, बिकॉज दे आर अ टेस्ट ऑफ योर कन्विक्शन कि भैया कितना अर्जेंसी से चाहिए. तो इसका मतलब अभी मेरे को ही अर्जेंसी से नहीं चाहिए. तो मैं बोलती हूँ अच्छा मम्मी आप कह रहे हो नहीं जाऊँ, ठीक है मम्मी नहीं जाती, इसका मतलब अभी प्रेशर पूरा नहीं है ना. सो ये होता है हमारे साथ. तो हमको ना लेफ्ट ब्लेम करना है ना राइट ब्लेम करना है. ब्लेम, हु इज टू ब्लेम? माई सेल्फ, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट येट ripened enough. I'm not convinced whether I should take this step or not. और जब आप convinced होते हो, मैं कह रही हूँ आपको कोई नहीं रोक सकता. आपको क्या जिसको बोलते हैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर, प्रेसिडेंट, जिसको, आपको कोई नहीं रोक सकता आपका जो ट्रू कॉलिंग है उसको फॉलो करने के लिए. नहीं रोक सकता. नो रिलेशन विल कम इन बिटवीन, नो स्पाउस, नो सिबलिंग, नो चिल्ड्रन, नो पेरेंट. दे विल बिकम इममटीरियल what they think about your decision. And why I am saying this with so much of conviction is I have lived through this life and I am living this life. So I can say that yes, this is possible. When I was not convinced, I was giving blame to left and right. I got convinced, I was ready to take all the insult and rejection कि भैया बोल लो जो बोलना है, लेकिन मुझे तो यही करना है ना. तो वो अपने आप आता है वो आपको. और ये अच्छा है जो ये लेफ्ट राइट पे है, दे आर लाइक जिम्नेजियम में हमको वो एक वेट्स मिलते हैं ना, ये वो खड़े हुए हैं, हमको, हम ही को ताकतवर बना रहे हैं ये ऑपोजिशन. तो ये ऑपोजिशन ना हो तो मुझे पता ही ना लगे दैट ओ आई एम द वन हु इज नॉट कन्विंस्ड अबाउट द स्टेप दैट आई हैव टू टेक इन माय लाइफ. सो प्रशांत, आचार्य प्रशांत ही सेज दैट अगर किसी के कहने से आप रुक गए तो इसका मतलब आप चले ही नहीं थे. तो चलो तो फिर किसी का कहना वहना लेफ्ट राइट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मुद्दा है लाइफ, है ना. Life is not to be wasted. Masters have said, Manush janam amol re, tu mati mein na ghol re. Don't waste this precious human life. In Savitri, a treasure misspent, fruitlessly sold in the bazaar. That's how Sri Aurobindo puts it. Misspent, fruitlessly sold. This is how we sell ourselves freely. उसने कह दिया उसकी बात सुन ली, उसने कह दिया उसकी बात सुन ली, क्योंकि खुद को पता ही नहीं है करना क्या है. आग होनी चाहिए जीने के लिए, मतलब उस टाइप की आग नहीं कि आप परेशान करो लोगों को, बट एक आग दैट यू नो zeal for life, that yes I have to make something of this life, you know, because we don't know how short or long it is. और जो आप अच्छा कर्म करते हो यहाँ पे, वट एवर ग्रोथ ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस वी गेट बाय ट्रूली यू नो लिविंग डीपर लाइफ, दैट वी कैरी ऑन, दैट्स द लाइफ दैट वी शुड लिव.
Yes. Thank you, Didi.
थैंक यू.
और अभी ये भी है, that thing along with conviction is also this thing of wanting to be the good child, wanting that appreciation. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
बिल्कुल, यू नो अगर वो वांटिंग टू बी गुड अभी बना हुआ है तो आप जी लो उसके लिए, कोई रोक थोड़ी ना सकता है ना. हो जो गुड, वेट कर लो भैया, किसी की स्माइल आ जाए आपके लिए, किसी का अप्रूवल आ जाए. जब वो मैटर करना बंद कर जाएगा, जब आप बहुत कर चुके होगे ये नमस्ते नमस्ते, तो आप अपने आप उठोगे और एक दिन आएगा, इट कुड बी वेरी सून, व्हेन यू वुड से कि बस बहुत कर ली नमस्ते, अब नहीं करनी, है ना. तो अगर अभी नमस्ते नमस्ते करने का मन कर रहा है तो आप कर लो, मतलब जी भर के जा सिमरन जी ले अपनी जिंदगी टाइप, यू नो. किसने रोका है? आपकी लाइफ है, जो आप चूज करोगे वैसी बनेगी. प्रद्युमन जी, यू नो आचार्य प्रद्युमन, he was sharing about Shubh and Ashubh, and he says that if I am right now preparing for a Shubh, auspicious, then my future will also be auspicious. If right now I am not attending to the auspicious, then my future cannot be auspicious. आप अभी कहाँ व्यस्त हैं? लोगों को खुश करने में, क्या वो शुभ है? Ask yourself, you will get the answer. Nobody needs to answer this. क्या वो शुभ है? उसी के हिसाब से आपका जीवन होगा. और क्या अभी आप अपने को बनाने में और यू नो टू नर्चर एंड फॉस्टर योर सेल्फ एंड डेवलप द इनर बीइंग, वहां व्यस्त हैं? क्या वो शुभ है? तो फ्यूचर भी वैसा रहेगा. तो फ्यूचर की तो चिंता करने की आपको जरूरत ही नहीं, आप बस प्रेजेंट में आप अच्छा काम कर लो, फ्यूचर अपने आप बनेगा. होनहार बिरवान के होठ चीकने पात, यू नो आई यूज्ड टू हियर दिस व्हेन आई वाज वेरी वेरी लिटिल, कि जो जो होनहार बिरवान होते हैं ना, उनके बचपन से ही उनके जो लक्षण होते हैं ना वो दिखने लग जाते हैं उनको. आप फिर माँ बाप को चिंता नहीं रहती कि यार ये मुझे पता है ये आगे अपना ठीक रहेगा, क्योंकि अभी सिंसियरिटी है. तो अगर अभी आप सिंसियर हो, it is impossible that the future will not be beautiful. So right now, if we spend time on these auspicious things, that is where we have to spend time. And all shall be well, if there is a future. That is. Yes, Deepa.
Yeah, I think I remember when somebody mentioned about how we have to provide for our children, that also what are we trying to teach our children here? We are giving them good clothes, good education, good vacation, good restaurant trips. So they have become used to getting all the time. We are providing and they are taking. We are providing and they're taking. And it is an endless cycle. This reminds me of what my dad used to say, that, you know, he always noticed that parents who were poor and who out of great difficulty provided whatever they could, the basic necessities to their children, those children grew up to be very proud of their parents. They always looked up to their parents. They always had very strong emotional bonds with their parents, versus very rich parents who provided everything materialistically for their children, you'll see their children grow up to be always thankless. Mostly. They'll be like, you didn't do this for me, you didn't do that for me, I couldn't go to the Ivy League or whatever. I mean, there will be complaints towards the parents because they have only learned, you have only taught these children one thing, to take, to take, to take. So I think sometimes if it means like taking up a job which may not provide as much to your family, it's not a bad thing. It's a very good learning for your family.
Yeah, a couple of things, although I think beautifully everything has been covered. You know, when I do things just to make the other happy, like Chetna was saying that because it's the requirement, for example, I feel कि अच्छा कुछ नहीं तो एक अप्रूवल ही मिल जाएगा, right? Like okay, I'll be मेरा नाम सुनहरे अक्षरों में लिखा जाएगा कि she was the one who sacrificed or whatever. और उसका opposite ही होता है because your heart is not in it. You don't do it. You know, you don't want to do it. And every time, I don't know, at least with me, it's always been how it wasn't good enough. You know, what you did, it wasn't good enough. So after 10 years लगता है यार इससे अच्छा तो अपना ही कर लेते. You know, कि जब यही मिलना है, क्योंकि if you're doing 9 things right, and one thing is according to, okay, not up to the standards of the whatever. So the comment on that 10th thing hurt so much, you know, because you know that the 9 things you had been doing against what you would have ideally wanted to do. So thinking that some points will be given or some appreciation or respect would be given, that's why I sacrifice. First of all, though, like 100% guarantee, no if and but about it, no कि नहीं मेरी लाइफ में डिफरेंट होगा, वो तो होगा ही नहीं, period. मतलब we all can realize it for ourselves and we must, and yet it is there. And you know, about that thing about hurting others, or I don't know, whatever that line of thought was, again, you know, in one of the one-to-one discussions with Acharya Prashant, once I had the similar question that how my doing something is hurting others and stuff, you know, my wanting to go on a different path. And he was like, you know, it's, you think it is like that, but it's like a game actually. You know, तुम लोग खड़े हो और तुमने एकदम से मुंह फेरा और तुम दूसरी दिशा में चल पड़े. And the first people who love you, they say, Arre, where are you going? Where are you going? They try to hold you back. You keep walking, they keep holding on. You start running, they start running after you. And before you realize, you are on the other side and they are on the other side too, trying to stop you. So he said, this is how it happens, but you can't see it. That when you do walk on the right path, the others automatically, who are even against the right path, they would come on the right path, not by their own will, but because they want to stop you. Why? So it's like, it's very, you know, how we say ironical or virodhabasi or illogical. And yet he said कि तुम तो भागो, मतलब don't think कि कोई क्या क्या, तुम भागो, सबका मतलब कि सबका उद्धार, like he used this word, सबका उद्धार ही होगा, तुम भागो. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So any last comments, anyone? Before we end. All right, so we end today here. This is, I hope our reasons get sublimated after this paragraph, sublimation of reason. So next time, le lo, picture le lo. Next time we'll, I think, start with conquest of desire. This should be nice. So just taking a last moment to ingather and share whatever merit we may have accumulated through this collective discussion, reflection, or our own personal sadhana, sharing all of it with all the sentient beings, near to far. May our hearts be full, and may we have lots of progress and joy in our life. Thank you.